Hi, my name is Caden Nixon, and welcome to Nixon's Oak TreeHouse. Today we're going to be stripping a chair. We're going to be using a chemical stripper on it, basically to remove all the lacquer off of it, so this way we can get to the physical item itself without changing the actual wood. So we're going to go to the back and go ahead and do that. Okay? Welcome to the back. This is where we do all our spraying and our stripping. Basically, we're going to be using a industrial grade chemical stripper to remove all of the lacquer off of this actual object. In order to do that, I'm going to have to, we have a big metal tank here and a pump that filters all the liquid up through this, and we are then going to actually put it inside and basically soak it and then scrub all the lacquer off it as it comes off. Okay, so come on up. What we have here is a stainless steel tank, because this is stainless steel so that it doesn't rust and it won't actually affect the actual color of the wood when we're done. What this does is that when we put stripper in here, it feeds back down into this, and eventually it will come back out and into here, which then runs into this tube, into the pneumatic air system, and then back up and then through this hose, and then comes up and then comes out of here. This is a recycling system basically to reuse the stripper, so that this way we always can reuse the stripper and get the most bang out of our buck. Okay? So let's get started. All right, here we go. You can't talk, you're not in the frame. Okay, so what I'm doing here basically is that I'm going to let it soak for a couple seconds, so this way the liquid will actually start to eat at the lacquer itself, making it soft, so this way when I drag my brush across it, it starts to turn off. If you look here, zoom in a little bit. I don't know if you can see exactly what I'm looking at. Oop, too close. Too close. Yeah, you can see how, especially when you get it into the light, see how it curves, just kind of going away? It's all the lacquer and all the stain that's actually been on this for a very long period of time that's kind of being eaten away. So what we're left behind with is very raw wood, which then can be washed off. Now, depending on the type of lacquer, this process often can take just a few minutes, or it can often take hours. It really depends on how thick the lacquer is, what type of lacquer it is, and what type of material is underneath of this. So the near top, you have to be extremely careful when you're soaking this kind of material, because it often can start to bubble up because it will absorb the liquid itself. As it bubbles up, obviously that's very bad because we have to then glue it back down. So most often we'll either use lacquer thinner, or we'll be extremely careful while using stripper itself on things with veneer. Stuff like chairs, the hardest part is really going to be the fact that you have these little bumps, these little ridges here. When you're stripping and you're in those little ridges, they're going to have the most concentration of lacquer itself, and they're going to be the hardest part to get out. Especially when you have these legs like these designs. These legs are all designed strangely. They're artisan carvings. They're going to have the most lacquer inside of these joints. And obviously, to make it easier on the people who are going to be coming by later and sanding, well, I'm going to be wanting to take that out, so this way they don't have to sand intensely in there, and again, change the actual shape of the wood itself. This is the whole reason we use the liquid stripper, so that it doesn't change the shape of the wood. my personal philosophy when I'm stripping this kind of stuff is that I always try to do sides. So you'll see me just working on the top side right now. And then I'll flip over to this side and I'll work on everything I can see on this side, all the angles. This is so that it's not as difficult for me to remember what I've done already. Because obviously I've only done one side at this point. The other part is that this stuff it's not fun to put on your hands. If I put it on my hands, it's not going to burn me, but it does irritate the skin intensely. As you can see when I'm wearing these large gloves. Obviously, you don't want to be holding this and just running your hands over it because it's going to hurt. Some people say that it doesn't hurt as much for them. Some people say it hurts more. Personally, I don't like the stuff. It's not fun to strip with. But it's also the best material we can have, and it really does a good job on this stuff. So, hence the gloves, the jacket, and the apron. Okay, so now that we've actually stripped the material off of it, we're going to be actually washing it down, and obviously we're going to use a hose for that. And we've cleaned the tank out, and now we're going to be cleaning off the actual chair itself. We're going to be using hot water, which breaks up the stripper itself, and basically stops its chemical reaction. If I actually have water. Can I have water, please?
No.
Okay, so now that we've actually got it done and it's washed off, it is now going to have to dry. Now this is going to take between 2 to 4 weeks to actually dry itself off. And we want all of the residual water and all the residual stripper that's on this material and in this material to get out of it. Obviously we don't want to be spraying this and then have all of the stripper that's still inside of the wood come out. And then that will eat through whatever material we put on there and obviously destroy it. So it's going to take some time to actually dry off, and that's the longest process that it's going to take is the actual drying process. Once that's done and it's finished drying, we can then take it to the front where our team of specialists will actually sit down and sand it, prep it, glue it, do all that we have to do to it, and then bring it back here, where there's actually a booth back here where we spray lacquer on it or whatever material you desire on it, which will then make it come brand new. Well, looking brand new. It's been refinished. And that's the process, really. The other thing is that we also normally strip multiple items at a time, simply because obviously we don't want to do one chair at a time. That's a bit of a waste of our time. So other than that, what you saw is what we do. Okay, well, this has been Nixon at TreeHouse, and hope you have a nice day. No, stop it.